have thought that I wasn't telling the truth regarding that because I didn't physically step on the scale. And I guess I understand where you're coming from, because at first I thought people were just like saying I was lying for whatever reason.
No, I disagree. That's crazy. Jules, you knew about the lawyer stuff when Becky's sister wanted to sue ZM and MBP. Want to talk about how she wished cancer on people? GoFundMe scam Lynn. Whew, that's a lot to take in. Okay, regarding the suing thing, I wasn't suing no one, honey. I never said anything about suing someone. I've never sued someone. I've never wanted to sue someone. I don't understand how to sue someone. I don't know anything about that. What was the other question? Want to talk about how she wished cancer on people. Okay, I did not sit there with Becky's sister and say, okay, type this. I would never say that to someone. I hate that I am being, what's the word, associated with that. Okay, that's horrible. I completely disagree with it. She's very sorry. She's mad at herself for saying that. We need to get over things that have already been talked about and apologized about, because continuing the drama from something that's like so like long gone is just, it's because you have nothing else to talk about, and it's not fun, it's not cute, it's not fun and fresh. And I don't know what to say about it, because these are things that I did not do. So people are getting mad at me for something that I did not do. It's not fair at all, because I didn't do these things and I would never do these things. So that's that.
That moment when you lie and everybody has receipts and tea on the things that you have lied about. Yikes. Couldn't be me. Anyway, so Amber released a video yesterday and Amber went live the other day. Now I dropped in, but it was boring. But what I deduced was, as always, Amberlynn brings out the full force of her personality in her lives. So she's her most condescending and manipulating and patronizing and arrogant. But something that quite alarmed me, which is why I left the full length of her response to this question, is how many times she had to turn to Becky to ask what is basically a simple word for what she was trying to explain. It was a bit troubling, to be honest. Continuing? Why would you need to ask someone the correct term to use? So we're going to take some things from this new video and we're gonna, I don't know, nitpick at them. And hoping that this is not going to be a long video, because it takes too long to export now, and sometimes YouTube is a real bitch and it won't process properly. I had to wait 2 days last time. 2 days. So that was annoying. So let's get on with it and let's start.
The biggest reason why, honestly, I didn't make a whole video regarding it is because I kind of feel numb to it, to be honest. And it's been happening a lot lately, like where I set a goal for myself, I reach it, and I'm kind of numb to it. And I've always been expecting this big pivotal moment, and I don't ever get that, honestly. I don't ever get this huge, magnificent rush of excitement, and I am proud. I am proud of myself. This has been a journey I didn't really know that I was gonna go on, because I always start journeys and I always fail. Somehow I always fail.
Okay, this I cannot relate to, because when I was losing weight, I didn't even need to lose a vast amount Just a couple of pounds, really. I mean, I just didn't like the little bits of, love handles there. And I remember starting it and realizing that I was going in the right direction, losing. And not only could I see it on the scale, but I could feel it and I could see it when I looked in the mirror. And I used to lift years ago when I was younger, but I stopped because I guess kind of body shamed with the whole, women aren't supposed to be muscular and have any kind of, they have to be, feminine, and which basically is never going to be me. But I remember when went back to the weights and training, and I was putting on the muscle as well. I I was I was super pleased. I was celebrating all the time. So I'm considering this is the woman who can like lose a pound or maintain and be so proud of herself and celebrate. It's weird to me. If you want something really, really badly and you get it and you start achieving it, for me, you feel happy. You feel, unless it's something that's empty and it's something that you thought you wanted but actually you don't.
I do know that I'm not gonna say who, there is a weight loss channel. They only weigh in when they know they're down weight. And I don't want that to be me.
Don't you love when she references other channels but doesn't actually have the balls to say their name? Like, where does Amberlynn get off? What I realized when watching this video is this is one long potential motivational speech to weight loss channels, and it's the most insane thing.
I just feel like if you plan on having your weight loss journey on YouTube, you need to be transparent. You need to talk about the ups and the downs. No reason to fib, no reason to beat around the bush, just be honest.
This would mean something if it came from somebody who started their journey and reached their goal and did it without being a toxic cesspit of crap and wasn't a manipulative liar and actually hadn't admitted to lying about their weight countless, countless, countless times, even admitting faking weigh-ins. If you are a weight loss channel on YouTube, please do not take advice from Amberlynn Reid. She is literally the last person you should be getting advice from. People watch this woman on how not to behave and how not to lose weight. They are cautionary tales. They terrify us, so we do the opposite of what they do. People watch them to motivate them into losing weight. That is not good. That doesn't make you an inspiration. That doesn't mean that you should stand in front of a camera like Amberlynn does and preach to people. I'm sorry, this is the biggest pile of narcissistic, ignorant crap that she's ever put out, and she's done a few bits in her time.
And in the past, I thought of Swiss cheese. I couldn't say the words Swiss cheese. It's a tongue tie for me. It's like the cheese is the whole story, the truth, the ups, the downs, and the everything else. But then I choose to only share little bits and parts of it, which is like the holes where I'm poking out, and I still have this whole other story to tell you guys. And with this journey, it's been so different because I do share a lot more and I let you guys know that I could be doing better.
Why the hell are all her analogies food-based? Also, nobody pushes holes out of Swiss cheese. Those holes are created by the bacteria, which in the process changed the milk to the cheese. And was anybody else listening to this analogy and just thinking, the fuck is she talking about? Just say, you lied. And you still lie. Next year, she'll have a video saying how she spent this year lying to us and keeping things from us, but she's learned.
I let you guys know that I do still overeat, and I still let my addiction and my binging get to me. Those things are still a part of this journey. So I think that's important.
She admits she binges, and then she'll tell you, no, she doesn't binge. And then she'll admit she binges, and then she doesn't binge. So what does she do? Does she binge? Doesn't she binge? It would be really nice if she could make up her mind at some point. Because it must be really awful to be this indecisive.
And I really wish that if there is anyone watching me who does have a weight loss channel, if they'll just be more transparent with their audience and don't just wait for, oh, I want to be down a certain amount of weight to prove myself. Just be yourself. And it took me a long time to get to that, honestly. I'm going to be honest.
Oh my God. When she said this, okay, I nearly fell off my chair. She says this with no amount of irony, with a smile on her face. You'd think she was truthful, right? Yeah. But then we know her.
I'm here to be, transparent. I'm here to share all of the Swiss cheese, honey. We're not going to have any holes. I'm just going to give you guys the whole slab of cheese.
I hate it when she does this fake, sweet crap. Stop calling people honey. It's condescending and it's patronizing. Thinking back to how she did it at the beginning of the video in the live. Yeah. Also, what? Stop saying transparent. I feel like she ruins words. Like, she takes a word and she uses it to death. And then that word is completely ruined for me. Every time I hear it, I just feel sick. Transparent. Point blank period. Oh, there's so many other words. I've blanked them out of my mind at this point.
So, last night, oh, embarrassing. I had a pint of Ben & Jerry's ice cream. It was the mint cookie or something like that. And I had hot Cheetos. I did not have the whole bag of hot Cheetos. That's a very pivotal moment in this story because in the past, I would have the whole bag of hot Cheetos. And I'm talking about the biggest bag of hot Cheetos that there is. Well, I think there is a size bigger, but the size that I get is like a pretty big size. And through one night, I would eat the whole thing. It would be in 3 different time frames. Like I'd eat a good chunk of it, and then like an hour later, I'd eat more, and then an hour later, I'd finish it. And those were times where I could not control myself at all in the slightest.
Firstly, I want to say that in one of her last videos, she said she gets the small bag of hot Cheetos because she knows if she gets bigger, she'll eat them all. So she got the small bags. Now I'm assuming she got a multi-pack because I can't imagine she'd only buy one small pack of... Sorry, I was going to say crisps. We say crisps here in the UK, so I'm going to say chips. It's really hard because chips is something else for us. Sorry. Now here is my problem, and I may be wrong. I could be very wrong. But when you're addicted to something, I feel like if you're an alcoholic, you don't have alcohol in your house. Same thing if you're a drug addict. So I understand that when you're addicted to food, food is something that it's fuel you can't really forego. But also, why are you buying things that will trigger you to binge? Why are you buying the ice cream? Why are you buying the hot Cheetos? Why are you buying things to snack on? I always find the way they talk about food interesting. It just seems interesting that these people developed a need. They don't understand the difference between need and want. I always try to avoid saying they're just greedy, but I kind of feel like this sounds like greed and not an addiction. Which I know is an ignorant thing to say because I don't understand, but it very much does sound like greed. Like if I was a child and I'd eat too many cookies, then your parent would call you greedy. They wouldn't say, hey, you have an addiction. You need those extra cookies. You need to eat the whole packet. This is what everyone means when they say that if she is losing weight, it's not something she can maintain because she doesn't understand and she needs actual help from people who do understand what she has. To differentiate between need and want. When I go to the supermarket, I buy what I need. Especially now. Because there's nothing there. Sorry.
And last night I told myself, yes, I am going to eat this Ben & Jerry's. I had it planned. I knew that's what I was going to do. And when I had the hot Cheetos, I am so used to eating the whole bag. But I told myself, I'm not going to do it this time. You know, I had the pint of Ben & Jerry's. Did I need it? No. Do I regret it? A little bit. But I knew what I was doing in the moment.
Okay, again, you plan to eat a pint of ice cream. Who plans to eat a pint of ice cream? She bought it at some point. And she planned to eat the whole thing. Listen, I'm not lying when I say if I buy Ben & Jerry's ice cream, it can take me like a month to eat. As I've gotten older, I'm not a big fan of ice cream. I have to really be in the mood for ice cream, and even then, it only a little bit. When I was a kid, I loved ice cream. I would take it every day. Just shoot it into my veins. But as I've gotten older, I just don't. I feel like we are programmed sometimes to think that things are necessary and needed, like ice cream and fast food and junk food. And yeah, sure, every now and then, sure, why not? But when we get to the point where they seem to become so important that we are planning to eat a pint of ice cream, I think that's weird. Like, I've never heard anybody say, in my life, I plan to eat a pint of ice cream. And I'm okay with that. I don't really feel guilty. What? A pint of ice cream. And this woman is standing. I'm used to her sitting. She's leaning, telling weight loss channels how to be honest and transparent. What she's doing is not actually having a weight loss journey. she's just not eating as much now because she can't go out to restaurants. Listen, when the quarantine is lifted and the restaurants open back up, you watch that weight, if she has indeed lost it, go back up. I mean, in the live, she weighed in at 500 and something. So, and this was, when did she film this? Like a week ago? And when was her weigh in? Like 2 weeks ago? Something like that? Maybe last week. I don't know. Time seems to be in a strange mode these days. But for real, how can you? She thinks because she's truthful or giving you half truths, she's already admitted she's a Swiss cheese. Which I think is more appropriate to call her brain at this point. Then it's okay because she's transparent. Which is just another buzzword she's seen on Tumblr. She goes on to say how after this she was terrified that she'd put on 5 pounds or something, and that she didn't. In fact, her weight stayed practically the same, or she just went up a little bit, I don't know. I kind of black out during some of her videos. She's getting as bad as Amy's life journey, to be honest. So when she didn't, the devil part of her that was sitting on her shoulder said, hey, you can do that more. You can binge more. You didn't put on any weight. I'm eye rolling at this moment. My eyes are rolling so far into the back of my head. And the angel on the other shoulder told her, no, you can't do that. No, that's the old you. And she listened to that one because she's moved on and she's progressed and she's grown and matured and she wants this. This whole video was I call her videos mindfucks now because they kind of are. She's so delusional that she doesn't notice in the same video where she's contradicting herself. And it's insane. She did tell us, she showed us the bag of Cheetos. The tiny bag of Cheetos. So she went shopping again, I guess, and bought a bigger bag of Cheetos. Why, didn't they have the littler ones? Well, in that case, why would you just not buy those Cheetos? I don't know. I still think if things trigger you, if you're in danger of a binge, you don't buy them. Just like an alcoholic doesn't buy booze. The part of a journey is clearing their house of booze to avoid the temptation. So if your house is stuffed full of lettuce and cucumber and cabbage and carrots, who ever binges on salad? Now I know that might sound heartless and horrible, but the fact is I remember the last ever video that Alan Roberts did of Amberlynn Reid, and his words were simple. Your enjoyment of food ends. It must end because your relationship with food isn't the same as other people's. One thing that, I don't know, it always makes me wonder, and I'll say this and then we'll end it. When all of these women talk about being hungry, I don't think they know what true hunger is. We hear a lot Amberlynn talk about her deprived childhood and how she was poor and they couldn't afford a lot of things, which is kind of weird because she said she was a big child, so how could they have afforded all the food for her to eat? And she's drinking expensive Fuji water in her childhood as well. I find very strange. They don't know what actual hunger is. And hunger is having little to no food and going hours and days without proper food to eat. There are people in the world that have nothing. There are people in the world that live in war-torn countries, and the food that is being given to them by aid from other countries is kept and sold at extortionate prices, and they can't afford it. So they have to watch their children go hungry. And we have to watch these women plan to eat 1 pint of ice cream and say, I don't want to deprive myself. I don't want to deprive myself. Heaven forbid you do that. Heaven forbid you don't go to the supermarket and buy pints of ice cream and big bags of Cheetos that you don't need. Heaven forbid. I know that's a little bit preachy, but it's how I feel, to be honest. It's how I feel. We complain about things that are so stupid and so immature. And these women, I hate it when they do this. They're sitting there with their big piles of food and they're telling us of big, massive binges. And then there are people with nothing. People who have to carry their child miles to see a doctor because they've had no food. And they have diseases because their bodies aren't full of the nutrition they need to fight bacteria and viruses. And then there's these women. These women. Their privilege is so much that we're supposed to just accept that they say, I want this, I want that. The need to binge was just too great. You couldn't say no to a packet of Cheetos. Anyway, that is the end of the video, and I have done preaching because these women bring this out of me, and she is one of the worst ones. That's the end of the video, and as always, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.